Right guys, we're back on. Camera's charged, bike's over there, pipes are on it roughly. As you can see though, slightly pointing downwards, which is annoying. But they're on, the collars are done. Well, that was hardest bit, trying to get the collars done. Trying to get the pipes trimmed up enough that they'll fit with the gaps being nice. But yeah, to get them gaps nice at the front, I've got that problem of sloping down at the back, which is a pain. They fit nice if it weren't for the foot peg. If the foot peg was standard, there's no such thing as standard on a Norvin. But yeah, if that were in its original place, if that were it should be on a Norton, they'd be sweet them, if it were the same as the other bike that I did last time. But he's moved his pegs back, then he's got them stupid flipping Italian Rossi. They look like Ducati pegs. They like Ducati pegs. Stick them on a Ducati, not on a Norvin. They're nice because they're fully adjustable, but they don't quite work with pipes. People put them on Tritons and they definitely don't work on Tritons. But it's one of them things, they're the most easiest things to buy, the nicest, reasonable price, all that kind of stuff. So you've got them on. They don't look bad. But yeah, when you change down gear, it clicks the pipe. So I have put a dint in the pipe, which is going to wreck the pipe, and it's going to ruin the look of the pipe. Or we slope them down and then kick them back up again. Now that's what we're going to have to do. Like I say, they'd fit like a glove. Them if I could just pull them up, it'd fit like a glove everywhere. But we'll whip camera off stand. You're on stand at the moment. We'll go and have a better look at them. You're all probably going to think that there's nothing wrong with them. They probably, if we lean on front end of that, if we lean on forks on that, then pipes actually don't sit too bad. The frame's actually sloping down as well. They fall at bottom at frame. That top pipe's got more of a slope on it, but yeah, I'm trying to mess about with this foot peg here, keep changing it up and down gears, and it keeps tinging on pipe. So that's why that one's sloping down. Bottom pipe wants to come up a bit, but if it comes up a bit, then it's touching that. But the gaps are fine. The gaps are fine. So like you'd see a lot of bikes on internet, on Facebook and stuff, and these pipes would probably be better than the ones that you'll see on pictures of. So like this gap, I'm always aiming for a nice gap here. Down back of that wants to be nice and tight at casing as it is. You see a lot of them and you can fit your hand down back of that. They'll be sticking out a mile. And then even like that, you see like that pipe and that pipe, they start coming in line with each other. The gap round there is nice. You see how it's hugging round that casing. On a black shadow, on an original Vincent, you get that to hug more of that as it's coming round. That pipe can sit a little bit higher. That one hugs, kind of sits behind that pipe. Because we're in a feather bed frame, we drop it right down to the bottom of the frame, which is there behind that. You can actually see a little bit of it there, I think. Nah, possibly that's just a shadow. There you can see frame. So yes, it's following frame. But yeah, it's just running down ever so slightly. And like I say, if it weren't for that gear lever there, I don't know if it will change in gear without me rocking it backwards and forwards. But nah, it's not doing. But yeah, that comes down, it tings there. So that's as low as we can get it there. But if we could lift it up so it touched here, then it'd all be level. Honestly, if it touched that, if I got that up, like that, then that's running level now. You see there's a big gap between bottom pipe, but I have to bring it down because when you change that down, it just pushes the pipe down. So I've pushed that gear lever down, and that's where the pipe wants to sit. So that top pipe now is lovely. And you see how it's running up compared to the bottom one. But yeah, that gear pedal's a pain. So we're gonna have to run it down like that. Then we're gonna have to warm it up here ever so slightly, and then just creep it back up. Hopefully it'll finish where that wheel spindle is, because that's always the best place to finish them, is that wheel spindle. Get it just to creep up, but after that obviously, so we can get that down as maximum as we can. So about here somewhere, warm that up and just put a long bend in it, and then the bottom pipe's going to need an even bigger bend in it so it matches, so it comes back up again. So I've not trimmed these fully. I actually think I could take a little tiny bit off. There's a gap here, and I think I could take another few mil off this, 5 mil off that. That'd creep that up. You'd also creep it up there at the bottom, but then we'll run out of room again. So I've just had to leave them. That one's fitted. That's fitted like a glove, that one. Like around that casing's nice. See that gap? Lovely. It'll actually go in a bit further, I think. That's because I've just pulled it up on that. This gap's got a little bit bigger, but if I smudge it in a bit, push on it, that's the gap there. So that's nice. Nice gap, following the casing nicely, that is. I've had to cut and turn it there. That's what I've been doing while you've been away. It was just fighting me. It just wanted to go that way a little bit, and I wanted it to go that way a little bit. And every time I put it on there, obviously it swung that back end in too much. So I just thought, instead of messing about fighting it, I'll just cut it, turn it 1 degree, weld it back up again. There's a seam on inside of these tubes, isn't there, a weld seam? And it pretty much, where I welded it back on, it were near enough exactly the same place. It just moved it just offline. So that were right by a degree or two. It's annoying. But yeah, it fits 10 times better now. So the plan is, before I trim that, before I do anything else, is just to flip and warm this up here and just to see if I can get a bit more of a kick in it, and then make this bottom pipe match it. That's the plan for now, which is annoying. And then we can try and get a bloody bracket on there, which I don't think that'll fit. You get camera down to there. Once I get that pipe creeping back up, I don't even think that bolt hole's going to work there. We might have to use that bolt hole or something, where he's bolted it onto the rear triangle. But then I don't know if his lever will pass it. There's all these things. So like most pipes, like I say, if you see these pipes on internet, they'll be baggy, they won't fit quite right, but they'll have got to this stage. Just welded a bracket on there, job done. Ride it. That's generally what you see, because at this moment now is the point where you lose money unless they're going to pay you extra money. And I say, if you pay me extra money, I'll spend a bit of time sorting that out, instead of you spending a week in your garage trying to sort it out and it still looks the same. We have the technology, don't we? We get a blowtorch out, put some dints in it, get it all, just batter it into place. I'm going to make it fit, basically. I'm going to put you back up there. I don't know why, because I'm going to get blowtorch out. But yeah, we're going to batter that into place. And hope that it looks nice when we've finished it. That's the tricky bit in it. I think that's why most people won't want to do that at all, is because you could quite easily wreck them. So you'll have spent 500 quid on a pair of them, take them home, they don't quite fit right, and then you've just wrecked them. I guess a cheap set might cost 400 quid. Mine are like 500-600 quid once they're chromed. So the extra 200 quid for me to spend a couple of days or a day just fannying about with these. I've run out of oxygen. We're having a bit of a mare. That's how much gas it took to use that up. We've run out of oxygen, so we're going to get the roofing torch out. And the roofing torch were last seen doing a roof. I actually had this out a weekend ago, refelted my mum's roof with it. So I know it works, it's all plumbed in. Just thought, we'll just go on to that instead of using an oxygen bottle. But it makes a racket, this. Makes a proper racket. So the plan is go over there, mark a chalk line on what I think the top of that is, and then bend it in that direction. What I've done, I've put my 1 3/4 bar in that. Yeah, you can see that, can't you? Find a bit of chalk. Chalk's everywhere, but you can never find it when you want it. I'm just trying to suss out where the top of that is. I'm going to go that there. That there. Mess about with that one first. Oh, might wait a flip the foot like it. That'll be quick, that's critical. It'll be a case of the easiest way of doing this would be to do that, but it won't do that, so we have to do that with it and then push, warm it up there, push on it there. And just they normally kick off a bit to left or right because you don't quite get this vertical line in right plane because I'm just eyeing it. But we can tweak that backwards or forwards afterwards. If I try and zoom in on that bar, and now we know where we are. You're about there, aren't you? Yeah, I'm going to get blowtorch out on that. So yeah, this torch is how I started off. Everyone asks what torch I'm using, and these are just a roofing torch. They're like Bullfinches normally. I think the brand's a Bullfinch, but this is just a cheaper, I think. got a decent side bending. That's well aiming back up towards the swing arm. Is that? Got a better bending than I thought it would. Yay! There we go. Wait for that to cool down now, and I've got to wait for it to cool down. Basically, what you're trying to do there is just put a big bend on it. It might kick down, I think, that, but yeah, trying to put a big bend on it so it don't deform the tube. If you just try and bend that in one place, it's just going to collapse it. So just put a nice big long bend on it. Basically, all you're doing then is just bending like quarter degree, quarter degree, quarter degree, quarter degree, quarter degree, quarter degree. So it just comes up enough at the back, and it's not deformed the tube. And that bent nice. Just kept it nice and round. But yeah, it's going to be warm. I don't think there's nothing hot on there's nothing there, a little burn, I don't think. Let's just have a look at that. I'm gonna have to give you a look at this. You won't believe how much that's bent up. Might bent up too much, to be honest with you. I don't think it will, though. I think it'll look alright once it's on. So we've got that. It's coming back up towards wheel spindle there, isn't it now? There. And it's bent there-ish, and I've bent it after where the lever comes down, just to make sure that it weren't before. So now on the bottom pipe I need to bend it like between them two, don't I? Just to get it to come up, and it needs to be a bigger bend so it follows that smaller bend on the top. That's my plan. Just don't want it sitting flat. Ideally, yeah, you just run them out straight, flat out, but the peg and everything else is causing a bit of problems, so we'll put a bit of a kick on them. Tricky bit now, yeah, he's going to try and get that to bend in right place. So I'm just going to mark that off there, mark it off there, try and find where the top of the pipe is again, bend it, yeah, it's going to have to be, just eyeball it, try and figure out how much of a bend I need to do on that. I could maybe take I'm going to take the top pipe off to get the bottom pipe off, so I could possibly take the top pipe off and lay it on the bottom pipe when I'm bending it. That might work. But yeah, that's the plan for now. So I'll do that. I'll save us a bit of battery. We'll come back and have a look at it, what it looks like when it's on. Yeah, I'm going to do some tweaking. We'll do some tweaking, see what it looks like when it's on. Should look all right. Let's see, they were running too far down anyway. They were too low, them pipes, because of that gear lever. So yeah, a bit of kick I think is going to make them look right. Right, I'll be back again soon. I'll speak to you in a minute. Right guys, mods are done. The mods are done. The pipes are on. The locked and loaded. That's how I'm going to give you a look. And I've just wheeled it over here because I need to do some welding on it now. I'm going to pack up soon. Let's go for physio for my neck from that car crash. So yeah, I need to get out of here a bit earlier today. But what I want to do is I just want to put a couple of tacks on them so that they stay in place. Because the risk at front end's just dropping down, banging on floor. Then we've buggered job. So yeah, just want to get them, wheel it over here, back over there, closer to welder. Just put a couple of tacks on, pull them into place because they keep slipping down as well. But yeah, they look good, gaps are good, everything's good. Gear lever just kisses as it's coming down, so just needs to drop them ever so slightly. But apart from that, they're pretty much moulded to the bike, which is all you can do in it. And I've got to work with the bike, the engine, the pegs, the kickstart, everything, all that kind of stuff. Wiggle some pipes through what I've got there, and that's what we've got. So let's have a look. Let's spin around. Let's spin that screen round. Let's spin you round. Let's get some focus on. That's what she's looking like. So as you can see around there, around that foot peg place, there's just a little bend on it, isn't there? A little tiny bend, just bringing it all back up again. I feel like the middle part of that exhaust is level with frame. Frame sat up ever so slightly because there's no weight on forks. When you sit on bike, it'll drop down, that'll all get level, and then there'll be a kick on back. That's definitely what it looks like to me. And then, what else is there? There's not much else to say about it. They're just tight. They're tight. So if you look at the gap, that bend worked absolutely amazing. So I put a 3mm packer in there, and then that gap just carries on to there, doesn't it? That pipe wants to come out a little bit there, so the gap will change ever so slightly, but I pulled it out and it still looks good. Yeah, then that one just swings into there. There's barely any gap round there. There's barely any gap round back of that. I think there's no gaps along this bottom edge to engine. Like behind the back of them pipes, there's barely any gaps. I've had to put a little dint in it for one of the bolts that's sticking out. And the only little issue I've got is I need a mill or something on that gear lever when it comes down. Just means just dropping it down. At the moment I've got it tied up on this piece of string here, so that's stopping it from coming down. But if I just put a tack on there on the top, and there's a couple of tacks on this front pipe, a couple of tacks on there, I can just pull it down, slide that 3mm packer up and down it, make sure they're the same, wheel it backwards and forwards, change this gear lever up and down, and then that, to position that so the pipes stay down, it's done on bracket in it, and that's going to be the last thing I do is weld a bracket onto there. And then we can get that gap just set just right so it comes down and doesn't touch the pipe. At the moment it just goes ting, ting. It don't move the pipe, it's just touching it. Obviously they want a little bit of trimming on back as well, I think. Probably cut them off at that wheel nut. Don't know, it all depends on tank and seat that. So these are quite a long pair. They look long on bike, don't they? And if he's got like a long tank and a long seat, they might look alright. That bit's tricky. I'd say, because of how far they stretch back, it kind of wants a squarer tank on it. Don't want like a little slim tank on it. Don't know. That bit's tricky without the tank and the seat. It's hard to cut them in the right place. But apart from that, yeah, looks good. I'll show you that bit down here under the rail. Again, because that's the only bit that looks a bit weird. Is that there following that bottom rail? You can see that there, can't you? See the black rail, and then you can see exhaust pipe. Yeah, they're pretty much in line with each other. That's the black rail there, exhaust pipe there. Yeah, it's not bad at all. And that gap looks perfect all the way down that gap, innit? Can't complain at that. Where else have we got mini gaps? Mini gap there. Mini gap that. That's a nice gap up to that engine casing. Same nice gap through there, which I'm probably going to try and get this one a bit smaller. I'm going to push that in there, that gap, where my finger is. If I push that gap in there, it kicks the back end out here, which I do want it to do because at the moment there's a stud there behind that wheel, that little brake anchor, and the pipes are touching on that, so they just want pulling off a little bit like that, so you can see the end of that stud, which then that should move that front end in. But I also want to do a little bit of trimming up on top here, because that bit there is very tight. So I'll take this pipe off, shave that down a little bit, shave that one down a little bit probably, because there's only just a gap. Like I have to keep tilting camera to see it, but between this and that, you see a bit of daylight through there. It looks like it's touching there at the top, which it could be, you know. Nah, there is a little bit of daylight there, but it's only like fag paper's worth. So I need to have a look at that. Which I think if I just trim the edge of that off a little tiny bit, there'll be enough room. But we're still talking, it's only 1mm or something like that. That's how tight these pipes are. So yeah, she's looking good. She's looking good. So I'm going to push her back. All right, let me stand up. I'm going to push her back. Get her back over there on that big piece of wood on pit. So then if that pipe does drop off, it lands on a piece of wood and don't land on the flipping concrete. But apart from that, yeah, done. So that's my plan. That is my plan. Let me sort camera out. You're a bit all over it, sure. Plan is move that over there, grab welder out, do a bit of titivating, get a couple of tacks on there, come back in tomorrow, sort out the rest of it, go and get my neck sorted. Right, I'll show you, I'll just show you a finished result probably. I might do a bit of welding on that bracket, but without me oxygen bottle, I need to get another oxygen bottle so we can do the brazing, so we can braze that bracket on. I could possibly TIG braze it on. That bit I've not decided yet, I might just TIG braze it on. We'll see. I'll have to tack it with TIG anyway because there's too much stuff on this bike for me to get gas torch down there, so might just tack it, TIG braze, tack it, and then TIG braze it all the way around. Saves me getting a bottle of gas this week, and I can get one next week. Right, I'll speak to you all soon, in a bit. Right guys, back on. These pipes are now tacked on. What I've done, I've got a little bit of bronze, I think this is bronze. Yeah, a little bit of TIG bronze, and I've tacked them on there, So these pipes are now semi-fastened in place. Maybe tightening up them collars a little bit. My next plan now is, I need to get onto that bike on the bench behind me. So I'm going to just put another tack on them. Probably pull them into place a little bit now. Put another tack on them which will totally lock them in place. Then we can whip them off, braze all the way around them. And then all there is left to do then is put a bracket on at the back. Which I'm still waiting for customer to say where they want the bracket to be. I've had a few looks, I've had quite a few looks at it. And there's not many places you can actually put one. If you don't get back to me in time, I'm just going to plonk one wherever I think it should be. And then we can just trim the pipes off whenever we want. That'll be it, pretty much done. Like I say, I need to get onto that bike behind me. I need to get these both finished by the end of the week, and it's Wednesday now, so I've not got much time left. That one behind me's got all the bits done, that A65. They just want arranging on the bike, lining up so they're all nice. Marking up, tacking up, taking off, welding up, putting it all back on again. Same thing then, we're in place of sussing out where the brackets are going to go, all that kind of stuff. That'll be brackets and silencers will be the only problems with that one. This one is obviously brackets and trimming. So yeah, I'm just going to have a quick look at that. And then we'll turn welder on. So that wants to be about there. And I think just wanted that doing with it a little bit. I'll get that spacer right. That spacer wants to be in before we weld them up. That one's just pulling out a little bit there off that back stopper. They look fairly in line as they go along. What I tried doing then, we're trying to pull that one out. I'm going to get a spanner, get me. I've got a spanner for them. A proper Vincent spanner somewhere. Oh, you're having a really interesting bit of video again, you know. Up bench behind you, yeah, there's a Vincent spanner, but I can't flip and see it. Why is that hard to see? It's just been one of them days. It's been one of them days. Might have to edit out for this bit. Can't find that Vincent spanner. I've got a proper Vincent spanner to tighten these up with. I could use the Norton spanner, but it's not the right one, it's too big. It should be just be hanging up on that tool board behind me. And it should be marked up with big letters. So it should be up there at the top, somewhere near them spanners, but... Ah, it's that one, innit? I thought it were black. That's what it is. And the Vincent, it did have Vincent marked on it, but now the Vincent's come off it, so I'll remark that back off. Yeah, we're looking for something black. Mainly because the other ones are black. I mean, Norton ones are black, so we're just looking for something black. But yeah, that's it. That's the Vincent exhaust spanner. I think that's the Vincent tappet cover, valve cover spanner. So yeah, wang that back down there. let's get you a look on that. Just tighten these up so I know that they're in the right place. And the gaps are still good. Just realised he's given me them, but they're not exhaust rings. I don't think they're exhaust rings. No, they're not exhaust rings. Oh, they come off them tappet covers, don't they? And valve covers, right? Yeah, they're not them. No, man, I don't fit exhaust rings in there. Just put some exhaust sealer in before you put them in. That's it. Right, so. Wow, right, they're ready to stack them, wouldn't it? Well done. So you're not just staring at a bike. Say just a couple more tacks, so if you could just get a tack somewhere else on it, just stop them from moving. And obviously can't get too many tacks on, so can't get out back of that one. Can't really get out back of that one. So it's just a 2 tack, one on the front, one on the side. Normally I'd do 3. 3 definitely locks them in place, but just even getting 2 on's hard work and having to do it back-handed. Yeah, we can take them off now and put them on bench. We'll have a look at them on bench. We'll just take them both off, I think. Ideally, we'd tack that in. We'd put the bracket on as well now, but like I say, just don't know yet. I just want to get them welded on, put the bike out the way, move on to the next one. If I get the bracket done and I've got time to get the camera out, we'll go through that. If not, I'll try and get us a bit of a view of it when it's finished. And if not, we'll see. But yeah, generally, I'll probably normally I'll get it in the video with that next one, won't I? Because this will be out over there, finished. If not, yeah, that's us for now. That's another set of pipes done. Or as good as done. So yeah, just wind them off, take them off, we'll stick them on bench, we'll weld them up, then I'll do an outro or whatever they're called. You might as well, I'll zoom you in for that. Let's get you a zoom in. Bit stiff this camera, there we go. Right. Vincent spanner. Top pipe first. One done, they look nice, look nice. Another one done. Right, I'll reset you back up and I'll be back soon.